Hello, crafting friends. I'm Doreen DeCebus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Simply Stamping Sunday. It's hard to believe it's already Sunday night. I've been busy all day long, but I'm glad to be with you tonight. And it's pretty sunny out, and you can see I've got a lot of sunshine coming through on my mat, so hopefully that won't bother anyone. So first thing I want to do is a little show and tell. I joined a swap, so I thought I'd show you the swap cards. This one's kind of cool because it opens like this and then becomes this. Gotta figure that one out and see how they made that. I love getting swap cards back because it just, you just get so many great ideas, and you get samples of cards that you don't have the sets for necessarily. So, hi Lynn, thanks for joining. This one has a little bit of Winkostella on the flower. This is the Inspiring Imperfections. I don't think I would have chosen to use that plaid piece there, but that's what I love about swaps. You get cards with different ideas that you might not ordinarily do. I don't have this set, but boy, what a cute card it is. Here's another fun fold with the Turtly Awesome set. This one's just so simple. Use the embossing tool on the cutter to add some embossing there. Here's another fun fold. It is such a thick fun fold, but it is a gatefold card done sideways. I just like to keep who made the card in here. Love this one, made with the gallery suite. This one's made with the new, oh Lynn, maybe we were. Was it from the, Lynn asked if we were part of the same swap. So I'm wondering, were you part of the Creative Cave, I think, their catalog kickoff? Which one is yours? Did I get yours? And then one more. And then I was playing with some cards. I was playing with the Coneflower celebration set and made a couple. And then I played with the new embossing folder of the sunflowers. So just a little bit of show and tell before we get started. Okay, let's make our first card. So our first card is super easy. We are going to use a piece of thick basic white cardstock. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it in the middle. And then you need a piece of cardstock that is 5 inches basic white by 3 3/4, and we're just going to do some stamping here. And this is the card we're going to make. I love this card. Super simple. Tonight we're just going to be stamping. There's not going to be any designer series paper or anything else that we're using. We're just going to use stamps, ink, and paper. So let's get started. And we're going to be using pretty much the same colors this afternoon, a little bit of a variation. But, all right, let me just get everything organized. So this stamp here that has the print on it, the text on it, is from Elements of Text. I think that's what it's called. I love this set. And then, of course, we're using, this is week 2 of using the Perfectly Pears set. So I'm going to start by grabbing the outline. I've got all my stamps here on the side. And I am going to just stamp that in the middle of the card. And then I'm going to take the outline of the leaves, and I'm also going to stamp that in the old olive. There we go. I'm going to still use the old olive and stamp the inside of the leaves. And then I am going to use the crushed curry to ink up the inside of the pear. And I am going to use a little blending tool. Thought I had them all right over here, but I guess they're over here. So let me just grab a dark one, and I'm going to grab some green, and I'm just going to be pouncing on this stamp with that green, coming in a little bit, and I'm just going to go and do the same thing on the other side. And that's what our pear looks like. So pretty. Then I'm going to take my Early Espresso ink, close these up, and I'm going to ink this up. I just want to make sure I have it the right way up. There we go. We stamp that all up. And I am just going to put this right over my stamped image. And there we have it. Isn't that cool? How it looks. And then we're just going to stamp the greeting, "A good friend is a gift," at the bottom. In Early Espresso ink. I am going to just fold this card and burnish it. And make sure I have this turned so it goes in the right place. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to put this on the front of the card. And that's how easy it is to make a card when you're just using your stamps, ink, and paper. And this will just go on the front. I love layering the same color onto each other. And there we go with our finished card. Set these aside. All right, our next card. is this. All right, so what do we need? So first of all, I did do a little pre-stamping and cutting. So I'm just going to put those over there, but I'm still going to do our stamping. So I have some scrap paper. I have a piece of basic white that measures 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm just going to fold that in half, set it aside. Then I have a piece that measures 4 by 5.25. I am going to be stamping in Memento black ink. That's what I'm going to be stamping everything today. And I am going to take the flowers from the set, and I'm just going to be stamping in the upper right hand corner and the lower left corner. And I'm also going to stamp these onto my piece of paper that I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to stamp them on the inside of the card. Okay, there we go with that. Now I'm going to take the crushed curry ink that we just used, and I'm going to stamp the inside of the flowers. So just to show you what that looks like, it's nice when you have the inside as well. Like I've told you before, I really love two-step stamping. Okay, and we'll do these as well. Okay, so that part is done. So that means we can attach this to the front of the cardstock. And I just need to grab my adhesive. So I'm just using the Stamp and Seal, and I'm going to put that on the front of the card. There we go. Now I am going to also have to stamp. So on here, what I'm actually going to do first is stamp the outline of the leaves in the black first, and I'm going to stamp it. This piece of paper, by the way, is 3 by 4, and I want to stamp the leaves first before I stamp the pear, because I don't want to stamp the pear up too close to the top. So this way I can just line it up perfectly. All right, and then I also am going to need the stems to cut out, and I'm going to need a pear to cut out. So the first thing that I'm going to do with my pear stamp is I am going to clean it. Because we're going to be using multiple colors on it. So every time you use it, you have to clean it in between. So again, I'm going to use the crushed curry and the old olive, and I'm just going to be pouncing. Each one you do, it's going to be just a little different, and that's the beauty of this. So I'm going to stamp the one I'm going to cut out. That look cool. And then I'm going to clean it and repeat so I can stamp the one on the smaller piece of paper. And again, take my, just gonna there we go. And I'm going to stamp the leaves now in just the old olive. Now these I'm going to cut out, but I've already cut them out, so the magic of TV, all of that is right there in set. So now I'm taking from the, just making sure I'm saying this right, I have all these new sets. The coneflower, coneflower celebrations, and I've got two. I'm going to be using two of the sentiments tonight. The first one is celebrating you, and that is going to go in the lower right hand corner of the front of my card. And now I'm going to start putting all of this on, and I'm using dimensionals, so I already fussy cut this out. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back. I'm going to add a little bit of glue and just glue this on the top. Put just a little too much. So I'm just going to get some of that off. There we go. And this is going to just go right on. That front label. Oh, let me put a dimensional on the back of the leaves. So both of these two cards that I've started the night with use very minimal supplies. And let me just add the flowers. I am going to have it, going to again use dimensionals and some adhesive, combination of both. use the smaller ones because don't want them to show through. But both of these cards use the minimum of materials, just using basic white cardstock and the stamps and doing a little bit of fussy cutting. There we go. And I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of this. And they both have made really striking and beautiful cards. So don't discount that when you're making cards. You know, if you're stamping, you can make beautiful cards without buying every embellishment or embossing folder or just using your stamps, ink, and paper. The next card we're going to make in just a minute, we're going to add some color to it. So it will be the one card that will give us a little bit of color in the night. All right, there's our second card, all said and done. So nice. I love them. Okay, now for our third card. So for our third card, the only fussy cutting I had to do were some leaves. So what do I need? I need a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock. So there we go there. Oh, let me show you the card we're going to make. This is the card we're going to make. And so it also has on the inside. So with this one, I'm going to use crushed curry and the Cajun Craze to make the pears instead of the green. So let's just get things started. So I need a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Cajun Craze cardstock. I then need a 4 by 5.25 piece of white cardstock. I then need a piece of crushed curry that measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I need another piece of 4 by 5.25 cardstock for the inside. And then this piece measures 3 by 5.25. Okay, so the stamping is going to happen on these three pieces. So let's just set that aside for a moment. And what I'm going to start with is stamping my pears. So I am going to grab the outline. It's over here. And I'm just going to clean it first. Thank you, Lynn. All right, so I'm going to use that Cajun Craze, crushed curry, and I'm going to be stamping in my pears. And I'm going to show you a little trick in a moment. So I always like to start with my middle object when I'm stamping 3. And so there we go. Then I'm going to stamp on either side. I'm not using a Stamp-a-ma-jig or a stamp placement tool, so I know that there's a good chance they're not going to be even, like this one is off, and that's okay, because it's a handmade card, so that I'm not too worried about. I'm going to clean this as well. Stamp it into the crushed curry, and then I'm going to open up my Cajun Craze, and I am going to be grabbing that. Oh, it's right over here. And again, I'm just going to be daubing it. Give it a little puff. And then stamping. Each pear is going to be a little different based on how much of the Cajun Craze I put on it. But if you think about it, we never get two pieces of fruit that look the same. Okay, there's our second one. And I'm not re-adding up any of the Cajun Craze because there's enough on that sponge dauber, with it especially being such a dark color. And there are our 3 different pears. They all look a little different. Okay, let's close this up. All right, so now my little trick. I am going to take the solid stem has the leaves, the solid part of the leaves, and I am going to just ink up. I need to make sure the rest is clean. Let's just clean the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to just stamp a little bit of that, and I am going to then stamp that piece. Notice I'm doing it upside down because the bottom part is curved, and that is giving me just a stem instead of stamping all of the leaves. Now, as I said, I needed to stamp some leaves and then cut them out. I've got them all cut right here. So what I'm going to do next is just add them to the pears. And I can put these on any way that I'd like, just adding a little bit of Stampin' Seal behind it. Putting them in the same direction, same placement. And there we go, we have the all done. Now I'm going to take, and I'm going to use my Cajun Craze for this. But before I do that, I'm going to use my crushed curry. I'm going to take the little speckled stamp, and I'm going to stamp the top and the bottom borders, just to give it some dimension so that it won't be just super plain. And I'm going to go across the border twice so that it will fit nicely. That way I have enough space when I'm layering. So it's going to show through at the top and the bottom. I don't need to stamp the whole thing because I'm going to be covering it up. Okay, there we go. And then what we're going to do is stamp our greeting, which is just going to be a thank you. It's over here somewhere. And we're going to stamp the inside of our card as well. So I'm going to stamp that thank you in the right lower corner again. And then I'm going to use that speckled stamp to just add that to the pears. Now the only bit of stamping left that we need to do is on the inside layer, which I wanted to stamp with this right here. So I'm going to stamp it in green, and then it's just going to be putting it all together, and that won't take long at all. And I'm just going to take that sponge because I'm pretty sure I still have enough. Yep. And there we have our little pears for the inside. Okay, so we're going to start our layering. Okay, so we've layered that on the piece of white. This is going to go right on the front of the card. And then this is going to go right down the middle. And I made this a little wider than our yellow because I think it really is a nice effect. So it matches, it goes all the way out to that piece of white cardstock. So it makes it look like these are smaller. So that's the front of our card. And then we just need to put that inside piece in, and we are done for this week. And that is card number 3. So let's just review the cards that we made today. Here is our first card. I love that one. It's probably my favorite out of the 3. Then we had our second card, and then our third card. So I hope you enjoyed these 3 cards tonight for Simply Stamping Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to continue with the stamping, but I'm going to be adding some designer series paper to our design. So tonight was just strictly stamping and no designer series paper, just to show you some great ideas of what you can do with these stamps. So I hope you have a great rest of the evening, and I hope to see you back next Sunday night for another edition of Simply Stamping Sunday. And of course, I'll be back Friday night for Fun Fold Friday. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.